Hello, my friend.
Hey, how are
How
you?
are I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
As
Very
I
good.
said, as I said before, I think it's pretty dangerous the thought of you and I being recorded here. I
Yes,
think
this
this
one
this
will
could go so
definitely,
many different directions.
yes, but it'll be fun. No matter what, it will be fun.
All right, we'll try to behave. So I'm excited to speak today or to share my friend Melissa with everybody. So Melissa and I go back a minute. We
Yeah.
worked together many years ago and have some fun stories and memories from that time. But I don't think they compare to what we're doing together now. I think this
No,
is by far the coolest.
no. However, that was one of the reasons why we got to now. So
That's right.
that's pretty
That's
cool.
right.
So
That's
full
right.
circle.
Hey, who knows? Maybe we were meant to find each other for this ultimately. But
That's right.
well, all right. Well, I know a lot about you. So why don't you tell everybody else a little bit about you?
Sure. So I am 51. I'll be 52 on my next birthday. I have two adult children. They will be 25 and 20 next month, actually.
Crazy. Yeah.
And Tom and I have been married 23 years in December. So I've been around a hot minute. But I'm an x-ray tech by trade and had just worked through the system to be a director in a facility. And now I actually work for a healthcare company and I have oversight for radiology lab services and ironically food and nutrition. So yeah, so that's really me. That's my background. And
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yep.
thanks.
And that's how we came to know each other.
That's exactly right. So
Well, so tell everybody because I actually think I know the exact date in my head, but you tell everybody how long have you been on plan now?
I don't have the exact date. I was trying to think actually. Was it the 13th of December? I mean February. It was in
I
February.
I think yeah, it was definitely February. I thought it was the
Yeah.
17th. I thought I
Okay.
had
It
in my
was somewhere
mind that it
around in
was yeah,
there.
mid-February. Yeah.
Yeah, because you thought I was starting on a Thursday. And I actually thought we'd done my kickoff and everything was great. And I'm like, I got this. I was going to Vegas, remember? And
That's
you're
right.
like, just wait till you get back, wait till you get back to start. And I'm like, I got this. And I packed
You're
all my
like,
stuff
"No,
and
I'm
started.
diving right in." Yeah. You're like, "No,
Yeah.
I'm not waiting."
So it probably was the 13th. So about 4 days earlier. So yeah.
Because I probably caught up with you like 4 days later, and you're like, "No, I'm killing it already." That's awesome. And how much total have you lost so far?
46 pounds.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And just knocking on the door of 50. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows where I'll go? So
I
yeah.
know, right? I know. And it's been funny to me because how many times have you changed your goal now?
Oh gosh, let's see. My initial goal. So I set a realistic goal and then okay, what if this works
Yeah.
kind of goal. So my realistic goal was 20 to 25 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and I hit that 20 pretty not really quick, but that was my body and that's fine, but easy.
Hmm.
I mean, it wasn't hard to do. And I was like,
Right.
yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. And I'm gonna ride this train until it stops. So,
And
but
here we
then
are.
it doesn't stop. That's right.
Right.
So here we are.
Here we are.
But
And I think that's funny because that's actually super common. I know you're starting to see that now as well, is that people set goals that they think are, let's call it more realistic.
yes,
And then once they see it start working, they're like, well, wait a minute,
yeah,
maybe I'll go for more. And maybe
yeah,
I did the
yeah,
same thing, and I
yeah,
think that's more common than not. So and you
yeah.
certainly were.
I just changed it every 10 pounds. And then there was that one, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, if you're ultimately going to go to this one, why don't you just go ahead and fix it to 15 pounds? Oh, sure. Okay. That it just felt like an eternity. I'm like, oh my God.
Right, right. That's awesome. And you, if I remember correctly, and I can't remember what all of them were, but prior to doing this, you had tried a couple of other things in the
Oh
past.
gosh, so
Yeah.
so much. I'm a serial dieter. So my first diet was when I was 8 years old. Kid you not. My mom had just had my sister, and she went to Weight Watchers, and I went too.
Oh my
So
gosh.
8 years old. And so I literally have spent all these years, what is that, 40 plus years, on
Yeah.
some kind of plan. Either it, I, some of the bigger ones, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. I think there was a Nutrisystem. There was
Yep.
the FinFin back before it was, considered really, really
Yeah.
dangerous, and they took it off the
Totally.
market. I had bariatric surgery. I had, gosh, I had 2 cosmetic surgeries. So just all in the effort of trying to be smaller. And
Yeah.
smaller to me, honestly, was, hey, if I could ever wear a size 14, 16, I'm smaller.
Yeah.
So yeah, and some of those things worked. I mean, they did, but to me, I always try to take the less invasive route first.
Hmm.
Um, but none of those, like programs, diets, whatever you want to call them, none of them worked, or none of them worked long term because they were not intended to be long term.
Right.
So that's when I went to bariatric surgery. The bad thing about that was you don't get the vitamins and nutrition that you need. It changes your whole eating pattern. It's really kind of not great what it does to your body. And patients move away. It is just a tool. It
Yeah.
is not a cure-all, and you can cheat it just like you can anything else. So
Right. Right.
I never got all the weight off from that, and it was just then
Yeah.
then I had trouble with my knees, and rheumatoid arthritis showed up, and just all these, all this stuff. And every doctor you'd go to, they'd be like, well, your knees carry, 5 times your total body weight. And it's true. Well, yeah, I know that. And they're like, "We would help you if you could lose some weight." Really? No kidding.
You're like, no kidding.
I had no idea. But then
No
they look
kidding.
at you and say, now how you do that's up to you. They have
Right. You go
no
figure it
really,
out. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
there's no plan. And
Right.
that's
Right.
really bad that our healthcare providers have kind of gotten to that point.
Yeah.
And it's changed. I think people don't look at obese people like they used to. But it's changed. It's more accepted, I think,
Yeah.
but it is an addiction. And
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
it
think
totally is.
until you come to that realization, oh gosh, I really
Right.
don't need this. It
Right.
really is addiction. That so I
Yeah.
think it's just got long reaching bad effects
It
to
goes so deep. Yeah.
it
Now,
does.
how long, I don't know that I know the answer to this, but how long did you watch me and my posting and my journey before you reached out?
I think I was thinking about this today. I think it was November. It was either,
Okay.
when did you start
I
coaching?
started November 6th and then
Okay, so
yeah.
it was either right after that, or
Mhm.
first part of December.
Yeah.
That was when I saw the first recipe, and it was the zucchini casserole. And I
Yeah.
thought, so by this time, Devin had already graduated high school, and he was a defensive offensive lineman. And so the child, I mean, 6'2", whatever, and he weighed 290 pounds. Well, the week of graduation, he says, I don't play football anymore. I'm not doing this. I don't need to be big anymore. I'm like, well, okay, however that works. Abracadabra. But he came to me and he was like, how do you lose weight? So I'm like, well, okay, those who can't teach, right? So here you go. I'm like, here are some of the things that work. I said, but
God,
then
that's
it was counting calories, counting, macros. He got all into that, and that kind of thing. But so we had already cleaned up our eating. But when I saw that
yeah.
recipe, I was like, yes, another recipe, another way I can fix zucchini. So
Right. You can
and
sneak
that,
it in there in
yeah.
pizza. What a novel
So
concept. It's So great.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I watched from that time period to the first part of February.
Yeah.
So what, 3, 4 months? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know that I knew that about Devin. That's really super powerful, man. When your kid says that to you, oh gosh,
Yeah.
that hits your heart.
Yes, that's
Now,
right.
did you ask me? I can't remember, but did you ask me right up front how much it actually cost? I don't remember.
Actually, I didn't. So here's the thing. I knew by the time I got on the phone with
Okay. Yeah.
you and we were kind of going through the initial questions, as I knew by the time we got to that point, as long as you were not going to tell me it was something I had already done and failed at,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I wasn't going to have to, give up a kidney, a kid baby finally, I'll take one of
Yeah.
those. I probably need my kidneys. But yeah, I was pretty sure I was going to do this. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we said before we'd worked together, and one of the things that trip we took to Memphis, and so let me just tell this story from my perspective. So here's my 250 whatever butt over here in the passenger seat, and here's Julie's skinny little thing. As long as I've known Julie, she's looked just like this, little bitty. And so anyway, so we get in the car, we start. It's a 3 hour trip. It's a 3 hour trip. I
Everybody
don't
just
know how
saying
many
Gilligan in their head. It's a 3 hour tour. Yeah.
to get there, and then we had to get back. But in a 3 hour trip, do you want something from McDonald's? I think I'm going to stop and get a Coke and da 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 da. And so, and then it was just, how do you feel about Zaxby's for lunch? Do you, chicken fingers are my life and French fries. And so I'm like, oh,
Seriously.
that's fine. So here I'm over here with my salad,
Chicken fingers are still my life, man. I just
exactly.
learned
So
how to make them better.
I just thought, okay, wait a minute. First of all, I saw a recipe that was actually really good. Everybody liked it. And then number two, I know how she eats. If she is eating this and losing weight, okay, what is this?
That's
I'm
right.
like, all right, it's got to be something good. So,
That's when it becomes real. That's when you're like, I know this human. I know what
oh
she
my God,
does.
I know I
Did
can do
you
this.
did you have to when you saw, when you started researching price and cost and all that, like was there anything specific that you had to do in your family's budget, or did you account for it or justify it or validate it in your head in any sort of way, or did you just kind of know,
I,
how you were gonna?
well, number one, I knew the cost of, I'd put into all the other things that had not done what I wanted it to do,
Yeah,
right? So,
right,
I mean,
right.
there's that. And then
Yeah.
there's that measuring stick. I mean, I probably in the years, just being conservative, probably have spent $30,000 trying to lose weight or
Yeah.
thinner or whatever in my head,
Yeah.
So I knew, I think cost was probably, and I'm probably in the minority. I didn't really have to think about that. I was more thinking about my health
Yeah.
and my husband's health. And okay, hey, even Devin,
And now
he's
these,
still,
yeah, now these boys, right,
exactly.
right.
So, I mean, and these are bad habits that I instilled, and so it's like, okay, so,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, Devin eats Selena greens every night, and he monitors his diet like
that's
crazy.
awesome.
So he's still losing weight. Connor will start tomorrow, actually, and then Tom's gonna start next week. So I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait till they hit that get energy zap, and it's like, okay, and you just
It's
feel
a
like
family affair now.
it is. Well, I
It
mean,
is.
and um Connor has a goal to be able, he doesn't want to have to be taped anymore when you have your measurements done
Yeah,
through the military. So because his height is not, he's about 10 pounds or so or whatever. Well, his neck is really thick. So they'll tape his neck and he meets the weight requirement based on the tape. So he's doing this, trying to make his neck look as big as possible. So
all
this,
this time, man, I could have done that. I
I
could have.
know, right? Who knew that that was a thing?
Who knew? Yeah, that's
That's his goal.
that's
That's his
awesome.
goal, not to have to do that. So we're
Good
trying
for
to
him.
mend uniforms just to keep him in them for a few weeks because I know he's going to.
Right.
So,
I
yeah,
love that. I love
yeah,
that. So, you kind of talked a little bit just about your life, and obviously with the boys and all of that, you guys have always been super active. But when you were at your heaviest, or when you were, looking for a solution, what take the hard cost out of it? Like
yeah.
what were the things that you were, well, what
Hmm.
else was it costing you? What were you missing out on, or what were you not doing that you wanted to be doing or just couldn't do?
Yeah. Um, that's it's not a hard one to answer. It's just a hard one because it hurts.
Yeah,
I had gotten, well, I mean, just the embarrassment, I mean, that's a big one. That's the elephant in the room, right? And
right.
no matter, I mean, and literally you walk in and you're sizing yourself up against everybody and you're like, okay, phew, I'm not the biggest one in here.
Yeah,
Or, okay, I am the biggest one in here. And then you're self-conscious all night, and it just, you do it so long and it's ingrained in your head,
yeah, yeah.
but I had gotten to a point where my knees, I switched jobs about the time I was 40, and had gone from being in the hospital up on the floor, walking and that kind of thing. And I've never been a gym rat. I've had memberships, but I never went. But anyway. um, but get walking and, as we did, rounding and things in the hospital, I went to a corporate environment and basically I was sitting in a chair all day. And that is so damaging. And I think just now we're really getting to where everybody and even companies are recognizing that and allowing
Yeah,
standing desks and things like that. But my knees started hurting so bad, and I didn't know what was wrong with them. It was literally one day to the next, and I ended up in the ER. No one knew what was going on. X-rays didn't show anything.
wow.
And it was a 5-year cycle, and they just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So I finally, in the healthcare profession, it's true. Someone told me this, it's very true. Sometimes we think we know more than we really know. So
Right.
it's really like, okay, get out of your own way, So
Yeah.
I finally, my mom kept trying to get me to go to her doctor. And I'm like, Mom, he's old. I was like, he's Granny's doctor. He's old. She's like, Melissa, nothing else has worked. In 5 years, all these people, all these things, First thing he asked me was, have you been to Northpod? No, I hadn't because no one would refer me to an orthopod. Hey, we don't know what's wrong. Let's go to, it didn't make any sense. But anyway, that's what happened. So I went in and I told myself before I went in, I'm like, okay, I'm an x-ray tech and I know how many knees we x-ray. And it's just, and I thought, you're going to shut your mouth. And no matter how many he asks for, you're going to let him shoot, every one of them, if that's what it takes to figure out what's going on. Um, because this was stealing my life.
Yeah.
So I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk upstairs. There was literally 5 or 6 years where I did not go upstairs in our house
Yeah.
ever. So as the kids will tell you, you didn't know what went on in our room. You never went upstairs. So anyway, I went to the doctor. He only did one view, and I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. I literally, I was walking to the room and they had the PAX monitor over here, which is it's a big HIPAA violation, but again, x-ray tech. So I knew what I was looking at and I knew it was not good. And those were knees. And I'm like, oh my, I step over to the thing, to the monitor. And so your kneecaps are supposed to sit like this on the top of your knees. Mine in that picture sat like this.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that's why my knees were hurting. And it really wasn't even from my knees themselves. So what that was the IT band that connect from your hip to your knee had
Yeah.
literally just crumpled up on itself and had pulled those kneecaps over. And it took 6 months of physical therapy to get back to where I needed to be. But when I say it stole my life, it stole my life. It
Yeah.
was Um, Connor was a senior when we finally got that diagnosis. Senior parents get to sit at the top of the bleachers, and I could climb the stairs, but I would pay for it with pain for
Yeah.
2 weeks. It hurt so bad. I was put on medication that I probably should have never been put on. A
Yeah.
couple of them actually, pain pills and things like that, and that was not good because there was a withdrawal period from all that. Not to mention what I'm doing to my liver and everything, you know what I mean? But
Yeah. Right.
anyway,
Right.
to get my knee,
How do those knees feel today?
those knees feel amazing today. I had the most wonderful physical therapist, but which is a godsend because that's
Yeah.
why I can do what I can do. But when I realized how much it had affected my family, we had gone to the mall at Green Hills and we were going to run an Apple store, I think, or whatever. And immediately Connor says, Mom, the elevator's over there. And he was like, Oh, you're halfway up the stairs. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I never realized that I
You didn't
had
even think
just
about it.
been. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even think about it. And then I was like, gosh, then they were proud of me, for being able to do that. So,
Oh my gosh.
um, but yeah, but my knees feel amazing.
That
That was
is
one
so
of the
awesome.
other things that I noticed when I started was the inflammation
Yeah.
is like gone. Now I told you I had rheumatoid arthritis and mine is really bad in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I have been able to come off some of that medication. So I'm just hoping to lose more. Well, it's weight based, and most
Yeah.
medications are. So I'm just
Yeah.
hoping to be able to come off of more. But I mean, I was just at his office a couple months ago and he was like, How are you? I'm like, I'm great. And he's like, You really are great. And,
Where did the other
so
half of you go?
I know, right? They were like, "No, this is intentional, right?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's
Oh
intentional."
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
show me what
Yeah.
accident help this. I don't know, but
Very
anyway.
intentional. Yeah.
Uh,
You mentioned the inflammation, and I think that's such a great point because I showed somebody a picture this morning of just my first 30 days. And I don't say this lightly. I don't mean it like I only lost 10 pounds because 10 pounds is a big deal. But
oh yeah,
at 1 month, I had lost 10 pounds. But
yeah,
just the reduction in inflammation alone
yep,
in my face was like so shocking to me.
yeah. It
And
is.
that my knees felt better. You and I've talked about this. My ankles felt better. Everything felt better.
Yep,
And I didn't even have a diagnosis as serious as yours. So
yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Well, I
Well,
also think all the
oh yeah,
vitamins and minerals in the food.
yeah.
So I'm also anemic, and before I could take those medicines for my RA, I had to go through iron infusions.
Oh,
Well, a
wow.
normal round is two, and of course mine was so bad I had to have four. And I'm like, how does this last? So they were like, normally a year, and at a year's time, you come back and you get, a half dose. So mine would be two infusions. And listen, they're not fun. They're not terrible, but they're not great. Nobody wants to do it, and it made me feel really kind of yucky, but
Yeah.
it worked. My iron was back, but it has now been almost 2 years and I've not had to have any more infusions. And I really attribute that to all the vitamins and
Your
minerals that you
nutrition.
get in a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That you're now getting it through your food. That's amazing. That
yep,
is, that is absolutely amazing. Well, so we talked about you've been doing this since February,
yep,
but you also just started coaching.
I
And
did.
so so I'm going to ask you kind of one more question here. What wisdom or, what like deep thoughts would you give anybody who's thinking about this or considering this, or maybe they're still hesitating, they're like on the fence for some reason, given just what you've experienced? And
Yeah,
obviously you're all in now because you're coaching others to
that's
do it.
right. Yeah,
What would you say to folks?
do it. There's just nothing simpler. Just do it. I mean, if you ask what did I change in my budget? Nothing. However, my grocery bill did change. Didn't
Yeah.
change a lot because again, I still had a teenager at home and teenagers come with friends, but it did change. My husband lost weight because I don't cook 3 meals. I mean,
Yeah.
what I cook is my lean and green, and that's what they eat.
Right.
So,
Right.
but yeah, to just do it because it really does work. The things you figure out are why. And I guess I'm one of those geeks. I like to know why. If I can figure out why, I will do better at what,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's one of the things the program teaches is, remember your why. And I can tell you my why has changed so much.
Right. Along with your
My
goal, it
Along
changes.
with my goal. That's right. And I'm still going on that goal. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's become one of those things now. So first of all, the weight loss to me now is secondary because I'm so
Yes.
used to doing it and it's so simple. I mean, it really, really is. The first week you over obsess over everything, but then after that, you're like, I got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
But
said that was going to be the last question, but actually, I have one more thing because I love this story so much.
oh
You and
gosh.
I joke about this, but you were pretty skeptical,
Oh,
even several
oh,
months
big
in.
time. Oh, big
Even several
time.
months in, you're like, "There's some hocus pocus going on here.
Big time.
I don't know what it is." But I love this story so much, and so I'm going to tell the first part, and then I'm going to let you tell the second part. So you were going on a cruise.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
said to me, you said, I just need to tell you, I'm going on a cruise. And on cruises, there's really, really good food. And I said, Yep,
And a lot
I'm
of it,
aware.
yes.
And you said, and I am going to take advantage of this. And I said, okay.
Mhm.
I said, well,
Yeah.
that is absolutely your choice to make. And I said, but I said, of course, your body has gotten super used to eating the way you've been eating.
Right.
And I said, I'm not trying to be a party pooper here, but I told you, I said, I just want you to know that if you go too far off the rails, your
Right.
body's probably not going to like it very much, and you might end up, spending part of your vacation sick.
Right.
And so fast forward to your cruise, and what happened?
So we designed a plan because the reason I'm like, I was ready to walk away from everything. And I think I lost 20 or more pounds by that
Yeah.
point. It was an 8-day cruise. We hadn't gone anywhere in like 4 or 5 years. I mean, unless it had been, somewhere random. But I was like, I'm not taking my computer. I'm not going to be reachable by work. I mean, it was one of those unplugged kind of trips. And
Yeah.
I was exactly, it was like, I don't want to think. I don't want to have to think, do I have my pancake mix and my all this, this kind of stuff. I don't want to worry with that. So not that it's any worry, but anyway. And so you were like, you made that point. Now, because I'd had the bariatric surgery, that really resonated with me because if I ate too much sweet stuff or too much like rich, there are certain things that trigger, and it's a miserable feeling. You just feel tired and you're like, I just want to go to bed. It's like,
Yeah.
you messed up and it's not good. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I thought, well, darn, she's right. And so I was like, crap. But anyway, I was like, okay, so what do you suggest? And you were like, well, we could do 4 and 2, or we could do 3 and 3. And my big thing was, we had normally gone on cruises and I wouldn't lose or gain.
Right.
So if I took an 8-day cruise and didn't lose or gain, that was a bonus for me.
But
And
maintained all your hard work, right?
yes,
Right. That
but
was
what
a home run.
happened? So we went to 3 and 3, but what happened was I noticed my pants were too big. I noticed my pants were too big, and I did not take a belt because I didn't wear a belt before now for Optavia. And so we were in one of the ports, and I'm sitting there ordering new blue jeans in a smaller size to my
That's the
house.
best text I've ever gotten.
So I'm like, hot dog. So by the time I got home, there was 4 or 5 pair of pants. But after we got off the cruise, I came home we got home on Sunday. I weighed the next morning. I text Julie. I'm like, "Are you ready?" And she's like, "Hit me." I'm
Oh
sorry.
my
She's
God.
probably over there like, "Oh
Oh,
God, here we go."
oh no.
I said I lost 5 pounds,
Right.
and it was really kind of amazing. But that right there is where my switch flipped, because
Yeah.
I had never made it, lost the weight I wanted to lose to get to a maintenance place, or even to where I could sustain it like 3 and 3 gives you. So
Right.
seeing that, I mean, okay, the weight loss aside, I mean, I don't even know what that probably was hoodoo. I don't know, but the fact that I didn't gain or lose, I mean, and
Right.
then I lost even more, and I really didn't modify anything. I mean, I didn't take salad dressings. I used lemon juice. I just squirted
Sure.
lemon over it. So they were just little things, but
Yeah.
again, I didn't I didn't over obsess about it. There was only one night I had to ask for a different vegetable instead of
Yeah.
root vegetables. So they're so accommodating. I mean, they were like, "Oh,
Right.
you haven't eaten enough, let me bring you more bread." I'm like, I'm good. But go on and dance for me, please."
Right. But I think what's so awesome about that, and this is what you and I have talked about, is that based on the things that we've learned along the
Right.
way, you just now naturally make decisions that are better for you
Yes,
because you're more aware. And
you
it's
are.
not like, it's not like they're hard decisions to make. Like you said,
No,
you're just subbing out one vegetable for another. But I mean,
exactly.
okay, no big deal. But you just make these decisions so naturally and you don't even think about it. And then you come
No,
back from an 8-day cruise and you've lost 5 pounds. So
I know. It's amazing. And
it is.
I honestly I didn't feel like I missed anything. I mean,
Right.
I really didn't. If
Right.
anything, I probably enjoyed just being around people. This was a cruise Tom and I went on together, so it wasn't like we had our kids and stuff. So, I
Yeah.
mean, there were these ladies at breakfast one morning, and I made really great friends with them, and we started talking, and then we did that several times. And so I think
Yeah.
it was just more about the experience, and it was,
Right.
you know, probably
That's
where I should have
amazing.
been, in the moment anyway. So,
Yeah. I
so
love
I
that
don't
so
know.
much.
I've just seen so many benefits. It it's great for the weight loss, but I'm telling you, the way I feel right now,
Right.
I I will do and maintain this, because that's what I never, if I
Yeah.
don't lose another pound, which I
Because
will,
now
but
your addiction is to the
exactly,
way you feel. You're like, this is
exactly,
how mine too. Yeah. You're like, this is
exactly.
how I
I
want to
mean,
feel.
we've talked about it. We both signed up for 5Ks. So I did one 30 mile in 30 days. Like, I would have never done that. I mean, it's just
Right. Yeah. I
another
don't even
day,
know
but
who
I would
I
have
am
never done.
anymore.
And I actually did mine and somebody else's,
Right.
and I
You did it for
donated
somebody
mine.
else. You did it
I did it
twice.
twice.
It's so
So
crazy.
yeah, we've got
Yeah.
35Ks this month.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't have the energy to do that.
I love
So
it. I love it
yeah.
so much.
Yep.
Well, thank you for doing this. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Thank you for being willing to
Absolutely.
share with others.
No problem.
I would love to, if you're okay with it, I'll attach your transformation picture to this so folks can see the
Oh
difference.
yeah.
I think that's where the rubber hits the road. So,
Yeah.
so I'll
Pay
do
attention
that.
to my face in the first picture, because it was
Yeah.
like a really bad grimace. So, and I'm barefaced in the other one. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yes,
it
those
was
ones. So.
a look of despair. Yeah, right. And then, I will just say this, obviously, either one of us would love to help anybody who's
Absolutely.
interested in doing this. So whether it's me or whether it's Melissa, please reach out to both of us, and
Yep.
we would both be honored to support you on this journey. And so I'll just ask Melissa that you drop your contact information in the comments so that they can
Yes.
reach out to you as well if they would like to do that.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, so thanks again, and
Absolutely.
we'll keep this train going, my friend.
Sounds good.
All
I'll talk
right,
to you
I'll
later.
talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.